Hello everybody, Treno here, and today we are going to take our first look at the Armour Breaking Ambusher vehicle prizes. And today we're going to start off by looking at the SPZ-12 LGS, which is a German tank destroyer. Well, technically it's an armoured personnel carrier with a recoilless rifle put on the top of it, but for the most part it's probably going to be used as a tank destroyer. And this is the top tier prize for the Battle Pass. So this is a level 75 prize. So you've got to go quite a way to get that. And unfortunately, you do have to buy the Battle Pass, which is a bit of a shame, but to be fair, that is expected of the top tier prize. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the big selling point is going to be this giant recoilless rifle, which is basically the same one as on the M50 Ontos. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that. And you've got the heat round with 433mm penetration and a HESH round with 152mm penetration. In addition to that, you also have a 50 caliber machine gun. It's an M80 machine gun, which doesn't quite have the same penetration statistics as American 50 cals, mainly because it's only got an adjustment incendiary bullet, so this isn't really meant for attacking enemies. So the maximum penetration from that is 7mm. And of course, in addition to that, you've got the 20mm Mark 21 cannon, which isn't that effective. At 500 metres, you've got 37mm of penetration, which against the flanks of enemies will do some damage, but I think it's a little bit too low to be a serious threat. It's more of a threat if you get into closer ranges, so 57mm at point blank range, but again, you're basically going to be mainly relying on this recoilless rifle. And the recoilless rifle does have a 360-degree traverse, but it is very slow. It's got a targeting speed of 5.9 degrees a second, so obviously you can turn it in a pinch if you need to, but if the enemy's directly to your flank, it's going to take a little while to turn it round to engage them. The cannon, by contrast, only has a guidance of 100 degrees each way, so again, that can't really be used to deal effectively with enemies coming from behind you. But again, like I said, that weapon isn't the most powerful in the world, so obviously isn't going to be too handy against enemies' frontal armour and such. And also you have got these grenade launchers, the smoke grenade launchers, to provide cover. The armour is very light. I think it's slightly better than the Raketen Automat. I think it only had 20mm frontal armour. This has 30mm, at least on the upper frontal plate. And then for the sides, you've got 15mm. The rear, you've got 20mm. And the turret itself is, about 30mm. So it'll provide protection against small arms fire and the like. Maybe the odd heavy machine gun caliber weapon. But against any serious weapons, they're just going to go straight through you. And it's got a top speed of 34 miles per hour. So decently fast, if not the fastest thing in the world. And a massive improvement over the Raketen Automat is the crew. You've now got 3 crew. You've got your driver, commander, and it's classed as a machine gunner, but it's technically a gunner in the front of the vehicle. And then you've got your loader and your main gunner at the back. Of course, one of the big problems, as you can see here, if you take a shot from the front, it's going to go straight through the machine gunner, and then you've got all this ammo just stacked up very nicely to detonate from said shells. And you've got a little bit of protection from the rear because you've got the engine, which can block some shots. But again, if they shoot from the left, take out your gunner, take out your commander, and your driver all in one hit. So we're going to take this out for a quick test drive in a second. We're just going to quickly look over the camouflages. This is the brown camouflage, winter camouflage, CARC camouflage, tricolor desert camouflage, and this is the Flecktarn camouflage, which does look very nice indeed. Like I said, we're just going to quickly take this out for a test drive. Going to load up with mostly HFAP rounds for the cannon, but like I say, mainly going to be relying on the recoilless rifle. And the recoilless rifle is the main weapon, so if I press fire, we fire from the recoilless rifle. If I fire the cannon, I have to use my secondary weapon key. I can switch between these, so now I'm just on cannon only, so that's now my main weapon. I'll just demonstrate how far to the right and left we can fire. So, not quite. So we can fire a little bit above 90 degrees. Like I said, it was 100 degrees each way. And just demonstrate that again on the left. Just quickly turn this. So it can provide a bit of fire support to the right and left, but not much. And as you can see, the recoilless rifle does not turn particularly quickly. I mean, it's decent enough, but if you're pointing straight forward and an enemy suddenly appears at your diagonal rear, it's going to take you a little while to turn your gun. You're going to have to turn the whole vehicle to really expedite the aiming of this. Just going to take a shot at the AA vehicle here. And yep, got a hit on there. We'll test out the Hesh in a second. Just going to quickly try it on the muddy terrain here. See, it accelerates decently fast. And of course there is our machine gun on the top here as well. Only fires a few shots before needing to reload. Yeah, very few shots before needing to reload that. So that weapon really shouldn't be relied on. It is basically just to assist in aiming the recoilless rifle, like with on the M50 Ontos. See, the Hesh is doing decently well. So this isn't the slowest vehicle in the world, but it's not exactly speedy on muddy terrain. And it is bouncing all over the place. It's not very well stabilised at all. We're going to test it out on the paved road in a second. Yeah, it's not very well stabilised at all. This isn't really something you should be using on the move. Now we're going to switch back to the heat shell, which I think is more consistent in its damage output. Now, I'm just going to take a quick shot at the flanks here. Oh, we're getting a little bit bogged down now, which is not great. Yeah, so this might be decent at detracking vehicles, this weapon, but as soon as you go up against any sort of heavily armoured targets, it's just going to be useless, the main cannon. So we're going to quickly just test it out on the flats, just to complete the mobility testing of this. And I can confirm this isn't amphibious. I did try and just take it into a quick dip into the river, and yeah, quickly came up with the you will start drowning in a few seconds. So yeah, this seems like a very decent vehicle. And yeah, I think this will be a very good main prize. I can see why people voted for this as the most popular vehicle in the post I put out a few days ago. I think the other prizes will be decent, but yeah, as a top tier prize, this is definitely the thing that everyone's going to want to be getting. It definitely fits as a top tier prize compared to the other two. So yeah, that is the SPZ-12-3 LGS, and yeah, this is definitely a very good vehicle. Now, of course, one downside of the vehicle is that it is a battle rating 6.7. Well, it's not really a downside gameplay-wise, that's actually very good. But of course, 6.7, if we go to the German tank tech tree, does put you amongst the World War II vehicles, which of course, some people are not going to like. Although we've already got some German Cold War vehicles like the JPZ-45, which is a 6.3, so even lower, and is also fighting with World War II vehicles. So while it may sort of harm the historicalness of the German tech tree, it's not going to be the end of the world, and I don't think it's going to be too overpowered. Though, of course, that cannon is going to be a lot more useful in the lower tiers. So that may cause some complaints. I could see this being put up to maybe 7.0, depending on how it plays in-game. But yeah, anyway, that is the SPZ-12-3 LGS. And yeah, like I say, I think this is a very good top-tier price for the Battle Pass. And definitely the vehicle I'd be most excited about unlocking. Whether I will actually unlock it in this Battle Pass, I'm not entirely sure. See how far I get on it, I suppose. Anyway, just a quick video for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll join me for future episodes. I've been Terreno, and I'll see you next time.